Well, you know, I was listening to Eddie Cleanhead Vincent tonight playing his alto saxophone. We've got another alto saxophonist who's going to be joining us on stage in a couple of minutes now. I know his roots are in the blues, but he's from a completely different musical generation, and that's Roscoe Mitchell, who's going to be coming on with his sound ensemble in just about 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, Linda, Eddie Cleanhead Vincent is sitting down here, but Roscoe Mitchell and the Sound Ensemble, who are setting up, have been together for about 2 years. It was in December of 1980 or so that Roscoe Mitchell decided to move into a different musical direction from the Art Ensemble of Chicago, which is the band, of course, with which he is best known as a multi-instrumentalist, playing all the saxophones and flutes and several other reeds as well. Roscoe's been working on several other projects as a solo saxophonist. He has an exciting and unusual double album recording that features a 40-minute piece for 8 percussionists playing over 100 percussion instruments. And not long ago, he was here in Chicago for the New Music America Festival, which was heard over many of these same national public radio stations, performing in an unusual trio format that included a vocalist and Brian Smith playing a 13.5-foot bass fiddle. So obviously this is a man who is interested in a wide spectrum of sound, and as I understand it, it was for that purpose that the Sound Ensemble was formed, to bring in some of the other areas of the sonic spectrum from those that Roscoe plays himself on the saxophones and works out with the Art Ensemble of Chicago. Accordingly, there is a guitarist, there is a wonderful trumpeter named Hugh Reagan, and the rest of the personnel, which I'm going to let you and Dick Buckley run down as they get things straightened away on stage.
Well, Neil, they've got a little bit of a problem. The band is starting to file in right now. One of the things that I think is especially interesting about Roscoe's music, he's been branded an avant-gardist. He's one of the founders of Chicago's AACM, is how accessible this new group that he's put together is. And I think you've heard on some of the albums that have been released in the past year or so that the Sound Ensemble is a wonderfully funky but a wonderfully esoteric group at the same time.
At the same time and at different times, Linda, there are some tunes that absolutely could be played on a variety of radio stations and I think reach a wide variety of ears. And then there are some particular compositions which are quite free and avant-garde, if you will, although it is within this group, the Sound Ensemble, that I think most people will agree Roscoe Mitchell has been writing some particularly lyrical melodies and has been performing in a very almost mellow style, especially when compared to some of the more frenetic efforts of the Art Ensemble of Chicago. The Sound Ensemble, I think, may turn out to be, at some point, the most telling example of the full range of Roscoe Mitchell's musical expertise.
Okay, Neil, they're starting to get everything completely set up on stage. Dick, how about a rundown on the personnel of the Sound Ensemble as they get things ready to go? Harriet Choice, I can see in the wings, is just getting ready to come out in just a second or so.
Okay, Roscoe has, we thought that he was going to play perhaps just the alto and the soprano saxophone, but I see the big bass saxophone out there on the stage. And we have Hugh Reagan on trumpet. Harriet's getting ready now, so here's Harriet Choice.
You've been coming down to the park each night. Maybe you see those great big red banners that say Mayor Byrne presents the Chicago Cool Jazz Festival. Now, there's one little line at the very bottom of that sign, but it has 4 very important words. Jazz Institute of Chicago. Now, I hope that all of you, they're passed around for free, can find these little gray and red sheets that give you the program. There's also an application to become a member of the Jazz Institute. It's very important. It's a not-for-profit organization, and these are the people that bring you this music. Another not-for-profit organization in Chicago is the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians, the AACM. They don't call their music jazz. They call it great black music. Some people call it new music. One of the charter members was Roscoe Mitchell. He is also a member of the Art Ensemble of Chicago. For many people, I think this is a beautiful introduction to the new music because Roscoe Mitchell has a lyricism and a humor I think quite unlike any other musician. This is the debut of Roscoe Mitchell and the Sound Ensemble in Chicago. And we have Tani Tabal on percussion, Jaribu Shahid, bass, A. Spencer Bearfield, guitar, Hugh Reagan on trumpet, and on alto, tenor, soprano, and bass saxophone, Roscoe Mitchell.
listening to live coverage of Mayor Burns' Chicago Cool Jazz Festival, presented by Chicagoland Public Radio. We'll pause now for 10 seconds to allow our affiliate stations across the country to identify themselves.
This is Chicagoland Public Radio at 91.5 FM, WBEZ Chicago.
Back now, and we just heard Roscoe Mitchell and the Sound Ensemble. Linda, tell us about it.
Well, one of the things that I enjoyed about the performance was the variety of moods that it embraced. Roscoe Mitchell is playful, really it's funky, it's free, and as you heard in that last closing theme, wonderfully melodic. And I was also intrigued by his use of the different instruments in the ensemble. He's best known as a soprano and alto saxophonist, but you heard him there playing a bass sax, kind of a modern incarnation of Adrian Rollini, who I believe was one of the pioneers of using that rather cumbersome instrument in jazz back in the 1920s. And I didn't think the transition from Eddie Cleanhead Vincent's set to that of Roscoe Mitchell was at all haphazard in planning, because there was a lot of blues, a lot of funk in Roscoe's performance, as you heard. And I was backstage and listening to some of the reactions of the stagehands and people, and listening to the variety of music that group presented on stage, and it was a pretty important observer who suggested that the ensemble stretches the ears while it keeps the toes tapping. A wonderful set from Roscoe Mitchell's Sound Ensemble, and I think a very important Chicago debut for this band. We've got Neil Tesser, who is standing by downstairs, and I believe he's going to be talking to Roscoe Mitchell in just a few minutes. Dick, I know that you are not a real fan of free jazz, more a bebopper, if you will, but what was your reaction to the set?
Well, I come from a different era, of course, and I realize that I have to make adjustments in my listening, as everyone does. You can sit there, and it isn't the sort of thing you listen to casually. It's the sort of thing that you have to sit there and listen and get caught up in, and let your emotions carry you. And it isn't really the beat, it's the pulse of the thing that keeps it going. And if you listen to it with an open mind and listen to it properly, it isn't at all hard to take. Although, and of course, the crowd loved it, but did you notice the reaction from the crowd on the little theme that he played at the end?
I understand that Neil Tesser is now standing by with Roscoe Mitchell, and he's going to have some words for Roscoe downstairs in the musicians' quarters.
Thank you, Linda, and I'm not exactly downstairs. I'm actually right in the wings, where Roscoe Mitchell has just come off, and his bass saxophone has been moved to safe quarters. Roscoe, this is a little unusual in a way, that this is the Chicago premiere of this particular band in a concert setting, because after all, you've spent so much time here working with the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians, of which you are a charter member, and of course as a founder of the Art Ensemble of Chicago. Is there an irony there that you see?
No, not really. This year I've played more in Chicago than I have for a long time, actually. Did the New Music America Festival, and now the Chicago Jazz Festival. So it's twice in 1 year, Chicago.
We had been talking earlier before you went on about the wide range of sounds that come into this group, and perhaps how that makes it a very fitting name, the Sound Ensemble. But I was also thinking that Sound was the name of your first album on Delmark Records back in about 1966, which was also the first album by any of the members of the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians, the AACM. So it seems to tie it all together in a way that all this sound is still coming from Roscoe Mitchell.
Well, it seemed a fitting name for the ensemble, and you're right, it was the name of the first record, though.
Your history in Chicago, of course, goes beyond the Art Ensemble of Chicago, and I was wondering if you feel that there's a wider or different focus of music that you can bring to bear with this particular group than the Art Ensemble.
No, not necessarily. I think this is just merely a further extension of what we all do musically. I mean, throughout our musical lives, we do several different things with several different people, and this is no different from that. It was not to be able to explore any more sounds or new sounds or anything like that, and that the sound's always been there anyway, and none are new or none are old. It's just music.
Is there a particular origin to your incredible interest in the wide variety of sounds that you can get just from the instruments you play, from the extremes of, say, the bass saxophone to the piccolo, or the highest reed instruments. Where did you get this fascination with the extremes of sonic production?
Well, I think that a lot of musicians in Chicago sort of developed from that standpoint of view, let's say, being able to deal with several different sound situations, and even going as far as to building instruments that would produce certain sounds for particular things that individuals wanted to do. So it's sort of a tradition here with us. I mean, something that we've held on to and kept.
And I'm glad that you kept on coming back, because I think that this 4th Chicago Jazz Festival is much the richer for the performance of the Sound Ensemble. Thanks for talking with us, Roscoe Mitchell.
Thank you.